Emilio, the honey badger, Urrutia!
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Honey Badger Hour. This episode of the Honey Badger Hour podcast is brought to you by the original Clippers Barbershop. We're back, baby. We're joined by the one championship bantamweight king, soon to be the Triple C, Fabricio Andrade. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, good. Everything going good, bro.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
How's it going in Phuket, dog? How's Thailand treating you?
It's good, man. Everything is the same, Still the same. Just like more technology.
I heard it's more packed now, right? Like I heard the island's really nice since after COVID.
Yeah, everything looked the same, but it kind of like evolved,
Yeah.
Because as the year goes, everything like evolves, but still the same.
And how's the Chinese? A lot of Chinese. Any Chinese fighters still go to Thailand or not so much?
Yeah, there's still a lot of Chinese, but not like before.
Wow, man. Yo, Fabricio, brother. So remember when you fought in Kazakhstan? How many fights did you have when you went to Kazakhstan?
Maybe one MMA fight.
Wow. One fight. And what did you fight for again? What was the price? It was like $650 or something crazy for and to go?
Yeah, it was about $1,000. But this was I was very young, So
yeah.
It was like 17, 18. So for me, that was a lot of money at the time.
Wow. And now you just recently bought a house for your mother after you won your world title. Did you buy her house, the house after the world title? Or was it before, I think?
Yeah, it was after the world title. I went back to Brazil and then I did it.
How good, bro. That's amazing, man. Yo, since I've known you, I met you when you were pretty young, bro, and you've always been really good with your money. You've always saved your money. Like, that's something that a lot of fighters can learn from, especially from a young buck like you, Like, you're under 30, and I know you've always been good with your money. Like, you've been able to go back home after your kickboxing fights, right? And support yourself, which is good, man. Not a lot of fighters have that money management, I've always been impressed about that with you.
Yeah, like I have goals like that. It's always like on my head, those stuff that I want to achieve. So everything like I do every day is just to achieve those goals, And I kind of like, even when I was younger, I always see those stuffs around as distractions, So I keep like focusing on what I want to do. And now I start to understand more, and then I realize like this is the right way to do it, But like for me, it's hard to forget this, because even like every time I want to do something or like spend money, but because I have those goals in my head, it keeps remembering me like of what I need to do to achieve them. So it helps me to stay focused as well.
And to save, right? Like and after your fights, you would always save your money. Like after your kickboxing fights in China.
It's not even. Yeah. Like for me, I got to a point as well that I went through really bad situations where I was like out of money, like I had nowhere to go. Like when I have a problem with the manager in China, he kind of like told me I have to get out of the gym, and he owes me like $600. He didn't give me any of this money, so I had like $100, and then I had nowhere to go, So this like in the time like my family messaged me and they like tried to make me go back to Brazil, but I just shut down the phone, and then I say I'm not going back to Brazil. And then I was like, I tried to find a way. And then when I messaged Caporal, then I went to Hong Kong, and then he started to help me in Hong Kong. But because I went through situations like that, I didn't want to go back there, Was not that I got to a point that I didn't want to save money, but I was too scared to run out of money. So it was kind of automatic for me, I didn't want to go back to that place. But now for me, it's just like how I live, It's not that I want to save money. I still do everything I want to do. but I try to don't be just like follow what everybody is doing. I don't need to follow what everybody is doing. I need to do what I want to do. So I still do everything I want to do, and what I want to do is achieve my goals. So I know what I have to do to achieve those goals, and I keep doing it.
That's awesome, brother. Yo, when you signed to ONE FC, your goal was always to win the title, right? Do you think you got it quicker, or did it take longer? Or you think it took you like in the amount of time you kind of had in your head when you were gonna get to that title? What did you think? Because I remember when we did our first podcast, and we were it was just after your victory, your debut, and you were like, you weren't even phased by it. I remember you saying it in the podcast there. You're like, yo, this win is good, but this means nothing to me because I have much more other things that I want to do. And I was like, I remember when you said that, I got like goosebumps. I was like, yo, my dog, he's not fucking around. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I kind of like saw that vision, and I was like, oh yeah, man. So I was like, I was wondering, because has it been quick? What do you think?
Like for me, I knew it, on my head. Even before I signed with ONE, I already knew, like, I looking in the fighters, I say I can beat all of those guys, But I think it happened on the right time, because I have a little bit excess of confidence in the time, but that was good because it was keeping pushing me to improve. But I don't know if in that time, like for me, as soon as I beat Mark Abelardo, I was like, I can fight Lineker, I can fight Lineker next. And that time I was like, I was pretty sure on my head, I'm gonna beat this guy, But I fought him now 2 years later, 2 times. The first time, I think he was a bit, I don't know what happened, but he wasn't on his best. But on the second time, he was on his best, I don't think just for this fight, but he was on his best on his career, because he was like shooting for takedowns. He was exchanging stand-up, shooting again. He was doing like things that he never did before. He was like on his best. And to beat him like that was a good feeling after the fourth round when he couldn't come back. Was a great feeling. But I realized that was a really tough fight. It was a hard fight. So I don't know if I could have beat him in that time, but I was sure I could beat him in that time.
Yeah.
But I think it happened. It happened on the right time. Everything that when I wanted to fight him, he wasn't even champion, and then he find his way, and then he became champion, and then I also find my way, and then I took his belt, and I took his belt right after he win it, So I definitely think I beat him on his best ever, and I proved that I'm one of the best bantamweights in the world.
No, in the world, my man. I'm telling you right now. And listen, like the times are changing, bro. You see how Dana White, like people always used to say, remember, there's no cross promotion, but I feel like we're almost there, bro. Like I feel like if you keep winning these big fights, you know what I'm saying? You can start. You guys can, because Chachi doesn't seem like he's too close-minded about some things like that, Or for sure you can
he's
do a
very
cross.
open.
He's very open-minded, right?
He would just with UFC, yeah.
Yeah, and he wants to prove he's the best, and he's legit got like some of the best right now for sure, bro. It's amazing. Yeah, with the Lineker fight. Sorry, what were you saying?
I think a lot of fighters, a lot of champions, not all of them, but I think a lot of champions in one championship would give a lot of hard times to the UFC champion. But I don't know if this is gonna happen.
We'll see, man. Wow, you made a good point about the John Lineker fight with the rematch. He came like he really stepped it up for the rematch. Like, did you feel like he was you felt different looks from him from the first fight with the knee, with the illegal knee, or with the accidental knee or something?
On the first fight, I think he was a bit like he was too relaxed, because he just won the world title. He knocked out Bibiano. He was like a bit overconfident, and he didn't expect me to be that tough. And I got him a lot of like problems, and I hurt him a lot, and he had a way out. So it was like he took it, but now he knew what he had to get ready for, So I think after that fight, he went back and started to do like a real like tough camp for himself, to be like prepared. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you see the way he shoot for takedowns in the first fight, was not even close. The way he was shooting on the second fight, he was like I couldn't see on his eyes. He was like, I'm gonna knock him out, you know. And he was coming forward, like I was hitting him all the time, man, and making a lot of damage, and he wouldn't stop walking forward, you know. So he wanted to win that fight, and I think he trained a lot for that. So that makes me happy that the fight in general was a very good fight, and I learned a lot from that, you know. And especially when everybody is saying that you're gonna fight a guy that's like probably like one of the hardest pound for pound hit, you know. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, you start to question yourself, like, man, can I take his shot? And then when I went there and I took all of them, I'm like, I can take these all day, you know. It hurts, yeah, but fuck it, I can take it all day. And in my head, I was not even counting the rounds. I was just like, I'm gonna make him stop. And even like for me, I thought I stopped him on the end of the third round. And then when I went backstage, I thought I think it was Johnny Boy or somebody. I say, I told you I was going to stop him inside of three. And then he would say, bro, it was four rounds. And I was like, really?
You didn't even know. You were just fighting, bro. You were just fighting round by round. You didn't even know what
Now
was. You
look
were
at
in the
him.
zone.
They stop first, you know.
Wow. Yeah, man. You know what's You know what's crazy with that fight with the accident with the knee and everything? It reminded me, bro. It's hard to beat somebody twice. Look at Aljamain and Peter, and look at Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards, bro. I didn't even think about it. There's a lot of pressure on
Yeah.
you, bro. Cause guys they always at that level. It's very like you can learn to fix things, you know. So for you to be able to beat him
Yeah,
twice was hard, bro. Go ahead.
I think in that fight, the way I was feeling like mentally was different from any other fight because that was my first rematch. So I was like, I was fighting the guy they already fought, you know. And on the first fight was very good too, you know. I hurt him, he hurt me, so it was like it's kind of like you're going in for war, you know. But
Yeah.
it's a different feeling. I was just like so relaxed, you know. I was like, in my head, I knew I was going to war, but outside, I was like, it is what it is. That's what I want to do, it, you know. But one thing that I tried to keep in my mind the whole time was the belt, you know, because to leave the first fight without the belt was like a kind of like a bad feeling, you know. And then I was like, I don't want that feeling again. So I kept like the belt on my head all the time. And even like right seconds before the fight, I told Johnny Boy, "Say, look the belt, I'm gonna get that."
You saw when you
Yeah, it
walk
was
out, you see it right there, right? Like on the outside of the cage.
before the fight start. Johnny Boy was in the ropes, and then I say, Johnny Boy, look the belt, and then it's like so beautiful, you know,
Yeah,
because
man.
like that, you know, you can keep looking in it.
Yeah, you can take it home, right? You got it at the house now.
Yeah, it's on my house now.
Now it's time to start the collection. Now we need like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now I want three, you know, I want a three.
Okay, let's get into it, brother, because I know you got big things popping. I know you've been just working hard on the mental game, and there's a lot of goals you want to hit. The Triple C. Have you spoke to anybody about the Triple C, about taking on all the titles in one championship right now? What are you looking at, boxing and kickboxing?
Um, we don't have boxing, so it would be kickboxing and
And
Muay
Muay
Thai.
Thai.
Yeah.
Ah.
But maybe after that I could do some boxing too.
Yeah, man. I saw your boxing has gotten. How good is it working with Johnny Boy, improving your boxing since you started working with him? You've been feeling like a big change in your boxing game since you've been working with Johnny Boy from Phuket.
Yeah, He just changed the way I see boxing. You know, like I used to see it before in a different way, and after I started to train a lot with him, I see in a different way that I feel like is way more efficient than the other one. You know.
Yeah, like meaning like what you can. He's showing you better things for MMA too, and like different techniques and stuff like this. Or what do you reckon it is?
No, he just trains boxers. You know, he would train you like he train a boxer. You know, but the I feel like he focuses on different stuffs, you know, than other coaches. maybe some people try to teach you more footwork or this and that, and he just like he's so basic, you know. He just teaches how to punch.
Yeah, I got you. Like you can focus on the fundamentals, just the ones and two punches, you know. Like you could probably take it real deep into just like onto just a jab. He
Yeah,
could probably dissect the jab like crazy for you, you know.
like the basic. He tried to make the basic but perfect, you know,
Yeah, I remember
the
you.
same thing. But
Yeah, I remember when you first started working with him, you were saying that he made your jab just like you felt like your jab just became like boom, boom, you know, like where you've always had a good jab, but you said after working with him for a while, you know, like he really lightened it up for you, man. That's
yeah,
good.
man. When I first started training with him, he just make me do jabs all the time, you know. And then I was like, damn, this is really tiring, you know, because you just do the same thing over and over again. And then I start to get bored. But then after a while, like I start to hit everybody with the jab, you know. I wouldn't miss. It just like was more precise, you know. I could hit like very very well. I wouldn't miss one jab. And then I start to realize that what you don't want to do is what gonna make you improve, you know.
Yes, 100%, bro. And that's the difference between the best in the world and like everybody else, right? The guys who focus on the 1%, you know, like the things that they know that they need help on, you work on that, and then by the next fight, you make your weakness your strength, and that's when you become like unstoppable, you know?
Yeah, and
Man,
that's always like something to improve.
there's always something to
Always come.
improve.
So you need to find what it is and keep improving. Because if you get stuck, then people are gonna run through you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Do you ever get homesick living away from your family for so long, man? Like, when you go home, do you want to stay ever, or do you always want to come back and get back to work?
Man, I feel like as I'm getting older, yes,
Right?
like I miss more. And then when I'm there, I want to stay there. I enjoy my time, like, even because before when I go there, I have no money, you know, and then now I have money. So it's like, it's more fun. I can do a lot of stuff that I couldn't do before. So I want to stay there, but like I say, man, I still have a lot of goals to achieve, you know, and time it goes like really fast, especially for fighters, because we have this window that we gotta take the most out of it, you know, and time is like precious. So I feel like I can waste any time, so I straight back into it, you know.
Yeah, right now is the time where you need to strike while the iron's hot, you know? I saw
Yeah,
you I saw you read one of my favorite I saw you were reading a book that I was reading too, bro, Relentless. You finish it quick, right? You finished that book already?
yeah, I finish it. I'm reading, like I started to read maybe. I used to read when I was young, but more fiction, and now maybe 5 months, 6 months ago, I started to read again different books, and I'm enjoying it. So I finished that one. I think maybe like in 2 weeks or something.
Nice. And do you have a favorite book right now? Do you have like a favorite book that you've read recently or anything you could recommend to any fighters
I
coming
have,
up?
all of the books I have wrote like is really good, you know. So I don't know. I think I need to keep reading, and then eventually I'm gonna decide which one is like, oh wow, this was really good.
Have you ever read The Alchemist? It's from a
No,
Brazilian author, from Paulo Coelho,
yeah,
I
this
think.
Coelho, yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh
I
man.
might give it a start. Now I'm finishing David Goggins booking,
Oh, how is it?
so good,
It's
man.
good.
Yeah, really good because we have like yeah, kind of similar story and stuff, you know, just different ages, you know.
Yeah, but David Gar, he's hard, bro. He never take no for an answer. You know. That's what's his. I gotta look into that one. I haven't read that one yet.
You
But
haven't read,
no,
yeah.
no, I haven't read the David Goggins.
It's crazy about like mental toughness, you know. He lives for that, and he does tough things like every day, man. Like he run like 206 miles in like 1 month, you know. Like this is crazy, man.
Yeah, he's a force. He's a real force to be reckoned with, bro. Like that's a guy that makes you feel that's the type of guy that make you feel uncomfortable when you're around him. You know, like he makes you feel like you're not doing enough, which is kind of what you need. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, you're like, yo, you don't want to just chill, bro. He's like, yo, you gotta stay hard, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You gotta run. Let's go. Like, yo.
Yeah, now I'm kind of like I'm reading, and then I have to remind myself like I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I don't need to run 100 miles. You know, I need to keep the balance.
How hard,
Because if
bro?
if I run 100 miles, I won't be able to hit a pad for 2 months or something.
Yes, bro. How hard is it for you? Is it hard for you? How hard is it for you to have to? That's what a lot of times with fighters. That's what it is. You know, it's harder for us to relax and take the break and the rest that we need because we just always, we always feeling like, oh, the opponent's doing more, so you want to do more. But that's one of the hard parts in competing. Like finding that fine line where you know you've done enough.
Yeah, man. These I think now is really like a hard thing to do. Because everybody is like training so much, and then you don't want to be behind them. But you have to understand what that can bring to your body as well. When you keep doing like that for many years, you start to stress your body, and you just can't relax anymore, and then you start to overtrain, and when you overtrain, you can start to have like all these uh anxiety and feel like low energy, because when you overtrain, your testosterone is gonna go down. So like there's a lot of stuff that can happen from that's gonna make you go lose performance instead of gain performance. So if you understand what the effects that these can bring to your body as well, it's easier to try to balance it. But I think this is very, very important, and a lot of people have no idea.
Yeah. Do you do anything for recovery? Like you do sauna, ice bath, any type of yoga or anything like that to stretching or?
Yes, like I have got like to very like big amounts of stress, because I was overtrained. Of course, I have been always overtrained my whole life.
Yeah, bro.
Like I got to a point that I need like my muscle was tight everywhere. It was tight. So I needed to start to do things to relax, like hot yoga, just stretching every day, things like that. And like see my heart rate, all these stuffs, check my sleep, how I'm waking up. So all these stuffs I'm adding now to prevent me to get there again, to stay like in a good balance. Because I think if you stay in balance with everything is when like you can take the most out of it. Because if you push too much, you're gonna have problem, and if you push like too lazy, you're gonna have problem too. So you gotta stay on that balance, but it's not easy. You gotta keep like checking everything daily.
This episode of the Honey Badger Hour podcast is brought to you by the Original Clippers Barbershop, located on 14227 South Dixie Highway. Make an appointment today. You can find them on the Booksy booking app or call 305 964 7882. More than 20 plus years in the game. And that's the Original Clippers Barbershop. Master barbers for a master fighter. No, yeah, that's the thing, bro. And then it's like you want to make sure you're hitting, you're checking all the boxes. I think that's why Phuket is such a great spot for fighters, especially for guys that they just, when their goal is just to fight and stick to it, because you have so many options there. Like you can go to ice bath, right? Like saunas, good massages are very close by, which is, I think it's important, man. Like in Brazil and America, it's hard to go to I don't really see any ice bath places here in Miami right now. Like I'm thinking that would be a good business, like ice bath recovery, because they're very few and far in between, which I don't even know what the pro fighters here do. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I miss the most when I'm like traveling, because I got to a point that I have a routine here, like so strict. I follow it so like every day on the same. And when I go out, I start to crave those stuff. I want to like do massages, I want to do a sauna, I want to do ice bath, and it's not that easy to find. Like you say, in Brazil, it's not easy to find. And it's more expensive. Everything is harder. You gotta drive. It's just a city. And here, definitely everything is like very, very easy. You have one everywhere you are. You have one. And also the environment is everybody like training, and there's a lot of like healthy spots to eat. It just make you trying to stay in your best.
Yeah, you can stay really focused there, and then like really you can stay how do you say it, like fine, you can keep your body fine tuned 100. That's what I've been realizing now, where I'm coaching now, and like a lot of my fighters, I'm like, man, like these guys, we had it pretty, it was good, like, but it takes a lot of sacrifice, man, to buy a ticket and to live alone and train in another country. A lot of people it's nerve-wracking for normal people to do. It's crazy.
Yeah, people can do that.
Yeah, especially.
Even I have a sister. She's older than me, and she tried to go to live in Portugal, and she couldn't stay there for 1 week.
Wow.
But it is like, I think it's all about your brain, right? You gotta try to get comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
That's 100%, bro. I think that's one of the best things for fighting and traveling. Being uncomfortable, we're like, yeah, being uncomfortable, yeah, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable is so
Yeah,
true, man.
like sometimes when I'm like just like thinking about stuff, and then I even miss the times I was like in a bad situations, because the way you have to make your brain think is just like crazy, man. Your thoughts is just like flying, and then there's a different feeling. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that was pretty fun. But at the time, of course, it was not fun. I was like desperate and shit.
It
But
makes
it's
you.
crazy how you can still think about it and have like dopamine in your brain, like, because it was a nice memory now.
Yeah, you can appreciate the hard times now when you see where you are now. That it all kind of played into it. It kind of all played its part to where you are now. Like, look at the confidence you have now, man. Have you even fought? Have you fought anybody as good as some of your kickboxing fights in MMA yet? Or do you still feel like your kickboxing competition has been like, because some of those wars you had in China, bro, I don't know if the new fans that you have now after winning your title, like the Fabricio that we knew was the freaking 54 and I don't know what your record was in kickboxing, something crazy, but those wars that you would have every 3 weeks in China was just like, it had to give you so much confidence going into these next fights now in the cage, where these MMA guys, I don't know, bro. I feel like the speed is different.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I haven't like really thought about it, but is it was I don't know, like in the time was just like the situation, because you always have to go to China like one day before the weigh-in, and then you don't know who you're fighting, and yeah, you just don't know who you're fighting, so you couldn't even make a strategy, to say like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy like that and that he does that. So sometimes I would find out my opponent like 1 week before or on the weigh-in, or they would change my opponent on the weigh-in, and I was like, who is this guy? And then I would have to check out the guy. So the situations that you got put in China was like very uncomfortable. So when you go out of that and then you go to fight for one championship where you know your opponent like way before everything is organized, you go to a nice hotel and then you have all this nice food and all professional, everything is professional. You just feel comfortable and then you feel like relaxed because you went through hell to get there. So when my confidence was just like I got a bit more of confidence when I was fighting for one because of that, because I felt like good doing that. Everything felt good. Everything was nice.
Yes. Like fighting in.
But like I think my opponents in one championship, of course, was harder than my opponents in China. So there was a lot of like improvement on my part as well between this time. I was like keep improving, so I'm still improving. I'm still 25. So I'm in good level, but I can still be more. I can still do more, and now is the time to do everything I want to do.
You haven't even maybe hit your adult prime. You got to train, like you were saying, bro. You got to be smart and just take care of your body right now, because you don't want to be like getting older where like you like 31, but you have the body of like a 45-year-old, because it's just all those years of grinding. So now just fueling your body, bro, eating good, staying on the grind. I love where your mental's at right now, bro.
And
You gets me pumped.
the science is there. We can take advantage of that, but many people don't do it. Like you can check all your blood tests and see anything that is wrong with your body. So if you do that, I think it's easier to keep in track of everything. And when you get to like even when I was like fighting in China and I didn't have money, in my head I was like, when I have money, what I'm gonna do with this money? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna buy nice supplements. I'm gonna do massage. I'm gonna do ice bath. So when I start to get all this money, I start to do all these stuffs, and then you start to go over. You wanna do more, and then you go like see a doctor. I start to go see a doctor, see my blood, see everything that's happening with my body, and now I keep checking every month. I see my heart rate. So it's kind of like you have to evolve and look and try to take the most of everything that's around you, because in this level everybody trains hard, everybody does this, they have the same strong mentality. So you got to find ways around you that people don't do, like eat healthy every day. This many people don't do. So if you start to do all these stuffs, you're gonna be different. Nobody gonna outwork you. But on training, if you start to want to outwork everybody, you may get overtrained and you're gonna get bad too. But if you try to find all these stuffs around that people don't do but helps you a lot, then you're gonna make a bit of difference there.
Yeah, 100%. I talked to Alex Volkanovski about it, and we would talk about it. The 1%. Like doing all the percentages. We do like all those 0.5%, the 1%. We're like, yeah, eating clean always, always, always. And then maybe you don't think it affects, but it's like and everybody at that high level, especially where you at now, if they're gonna make it to the title, they are gonna be mentally strong, and they've always been doing the hardest things. But the guys who do all the extra things on top, when it gets really, really close, that's when you see it's like compounding interests. Just always putting it in where like you might not see it now, but 10 years from now, maybe all the diligence you had now, you'll be ready if a short notice fight comes up or an injury comes up, that you still have that confidence because you did everything else in place to get it done.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's true. Like, do everything, like your confidence is just like, what else could I do? Like I couldn't do anything else. So like you're ready, you know. But that's, man. Like Alex, I don't know. Like he's probably like doing like he's on a different level than I am. But it's just because you always like evolving. You have to always looking for things to keep like getting better and better and better, and those things they keep showing up. So you can like either do them or ignore them. But I know for a fact that if I stop to do any of those stops, I know that I'm gonna either get stuck or I'm gonna slow down. So I gotta keep doing the daily, every day, every day, every day, and then eventually, when I wanna retire, then I can like, okay, I can relax now and leave all this behind.
Yeah, you can relax. You can be like Aldo and you can get a cheeseburger shop, dog. You know what I'm saying? And you can start cooking. But for now, you got to stay on it, bro. No, and you know what it is, too?
Yeah,
It's
about yourself. This is the goal, to have a movie about yourself.
Yeah. And you know what it is, too? What's got to be hard for you, bro? That, like, when you become the champion, like, and you got to work on all your defects, you got to make sure you keep your ego in check where you don't think, oh, I'm too good to learn or do something, like work with somebody that maybe you feel like you should know more than them, or like you don't want to like lose to a certain person in the gym or something. So you got to be like really, because like the ego too is what kind of kills us, right? Like we maybe sometimes, I know for me a lot, like you don't make those improvements you need to make because your ego doesn't allow you to learn from somebody or to get into those positions where you need to like lose a lot. And it's hard. Like you got to really be able to have the diligence to put yourself there.
Yes, especially when you train in a gym like Tiger, that
Yeah,
everybody
bro.
keeps changing every day, and you get different people, and you don't know those people, and maybe sometimes it's not only your ego, it's their ego too. So, but I think the best thing you can do, if you can, of course, is to build up your own environment, where you're going to have people that are good enough to push you, but won't be stupid to try to hurt you because you both trying to improve. So if you can create like kind of like a team with people like that, then you can get a good train and you won't get hurt. But I feel like if for my experience before, every time I went to open, like I've been in Tiger for many years, every time I went to open class, I would go to war 5 rounds because it was 5 rounds of sparring. So I would go for war with 5 different guys every Monday and Friday. And Honestly, I loved it.
This
I
is the
loved
Fabricio
it.
that
And
I know. This is the one that I remember, guys. This is where I'm like, this is why I call you War Machine. Cause it's like, yo, Fabricio's just gonna go and take somebody out, dog. Young, hungry, and just ready, dog.
and man, and now I see that my mentality in that time was like, I want to get tested. I want to go with the tough guys, and I want to see if they are tougher than I am. And that time I have that mentality. So now I think, now I fight for a big promotion. I'm fighting for money. I wanted this money, so I can afford to get injury. And then I remember, like, if I go train and then I get a guy like the way I was, I'm gonna go for war, because I was crazy. So I don't want to do that. So now I'm like, I don't want to spar with me 5 years ago. I want to have the people.
Hey, I was 30 when I met you, dog. So I did not ever want. I was like, you fucking up my arms, my legs. I couldn't train for a week after I trained with your ass, dog. I stay away from your fucking ass. I was 32, 33, dog. On the way out, I'm like, yo, get away from me, you fucking 21-year-olds. I don't want fucking, you want to roll? Let's go.
There was like a period of time that I was sparring literally every day, man.
Boxing,
Every
yeah.
day.
You go to boxing on Wednesday. You do MMA
Yeah,
on.
2 times. Man, I would do Muay Thai
Oh,
from
Muay Thai
3 to
sparring.
4, and then I would go to MMA from 4 to 5. I would do like 15 rounds a day, and it was all wars. I would like leave everything in the round, and I loved it. I was addicted to it. Next day, I want to do it again. Next day,
Yeah.
I want to do it again. I want to keep doing it. So I was like, I loved it, man. I was like, yes, I want to get to it. That was my favorite train. Still is my favorite train, but at the time I was just addicted to it. Every day I want to do sparring.
Yeah, but listen, that's what you need to do at that time, Like, if there's a guy who's your age and that skill level and they're not like that, now I'm like, oh, you're not going to be the champion, dog. Like, I already know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, from like 20 to like
Yeah,
26, you got to have the war machine in you. But now you're 25, which is good. Like, now you need to, like, just be a little bit smarter. You can still do the war because you got to get ready for these freaking Linekers and these guys. But, now control a little bit more control. That's why you have Johnny and all these
yeah.
guys looking over you.
That age, your testosterone is like
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
through the roof, and your recovery is crazy. It's just so fast. Because I remember I would do like 4 trains a day and hard trains, and next day I would like, let's go again. I was ready. And now if I do 4 trains a day, like next day I'm dead. I cannot train for like 3 days.
Ah, you can
So
still do it.
it's not the same, man, because after like I think your brain finish like the some part of on your
Yeah, the
brain, the
pineal, the front of your brain starts like it's fully developed at like 22, 23.
25, man.
Oh,
It's 25.
25. Fuck.
and and now like I can feel that I'm like thinking differently, and but this is a real stuff, like you gotta keep checking on it.
100%. Yo, Fabrice, we're gonna wrap this up soon, my man. I wanted to ask you, brother. I always hear, they always say when a guy becomes a champion, he levels up. Like he gets like you just get like the between the confidence and bro, I can only imagine with a fight like Lineker, like we haven't fought yet, you haven't defended your title yet, but do you feel like like you just like they say you go like you get to that next level, like after you win the title, that like whoever you were as a fighter before you won the title, whoever you are after is like a different animal. Are you feeling that now? Do you see like something different now when you go, or how's it working?
Yeah, think if we think, then Lineker was 30% of his best on that fight, and I still beat him up. So I would probably be like 60, for Loman. So yeah, I'm pretty confident I'm gonna knock him out too.
Is Loman the number one contender? That's a great fight. That's a really good fight.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna fight it. Yeah, it's almost sure I fight him next.
This is a super high level fight. This is gonna be a great fight for one championship. He's got good wrestling. He's competent. He's a good fighter, But this is gonna be perfect. Oh my gosh! All right, the last one, brother. How important is mindset and the mental game in fighting compared to everything else?
I think every sport is about the mental, to reach like the highest level where not many people get. you need to have a strong mental. You need to understand your brain and your body. And I think that's like for every sport. Like now, I try to follow like Formula One, all those like different sports, and on the end, everybody has basically the same mentality. You just have to wanna be the best. If you don't have that, you can get that. So I
Yes.
think is very very important for every sport.
I always say like this one thing: whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. But it all starts with the inner belief, and it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one. It's like you almost gotta be crazy, like delusional, right? Because like you gotta like if you want to be a champion, what if you want to be a champion? You're fighting for the title, but you're losing every round, but you're going against all these guys, like but you still have to know no matter what, like the rounds or the training is just it's just a part of the
Everybody
process.
everybody has to be delusional in some point. Like if I go back and then I think when I was like 13, and then I already knew I was going to be world champion. And that time I was 13 years old just starting training, but in my head, like I knew I'm gonna be a world champion. So at that time I was delusional. Everybody I told that, they were like, they didn't believe it. They would like make fun of me. So I was delusional then, but now I achieve it. So am I delusional now? You know? So in some point you have to be delusional.
That's what it is, bro. 100%. Hey, one time for the delusionals, for all the crazies out there. You got to be crazy and you got to be delusional, bro. I love it. That's a great way to end it, my man. Yo, Fabrice, you having no dates lined up for Loman right now? So MMA is going to be your next conquest right now. MMA bantamweight. How do you like bantamweight? You feel like it's easy to make the 45?
Yeah.
Like, what do you...
now, 71 kilos maximum.
Bro, that's chilling, bro. Yeah, for sure, man. And then you're just eating clean all the time.
Checking, I keep checking always. So I don't go.
And then have you talked to Chaudhry about going back to about fighting for the kickboxing? Would he make you fight kickboxing, or would you be able to challenge straight for the title?
Yeah, straight for the title. Yeah.
Haggerty is your weight class in is Haggerty, and who else? Who's the other champion? Haggerty and who else? I'm sorry?
Pecciano.
Ooh, let's go, Fabrice. Hey, I can't wait, my brother. Thank you so much for the time, man. All right, so what was today? Thursday. What did you train today? Boxing. What did you do this morning for training?
Today, I'm just going to do some strength.
Some strength training? Who are you working with anybody right now for your strength and conditioning and stuff?
With myself.
Yeah, I know. We used to live in the shit. I used to always like, yeah. I remember. You know what's up, bro. Remember we used to do the trap bar, the squats. Yeah, you love to lift weights, dog. Johnny Betts used to always get you filming Fabricio Andrade and you're doing your biceps. Oh, my brother. Hey, thank you so much for the time, my man. Listen, I'm going to keep sending you books. The Alchemist, bro. Read The Alchemist, all right? And then The Richest Man in Babylon. Those are two good ones.
Okay, send me.
The Richest Man in Babylon I like, but like I told you about that one. That's the money one, but you're more on the mentality game right now. You want the fucking mental monster shit so you can take over the world. Yo, I love you, my brother. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, Fabrice. God bless you. Be safe out there, all right? Enjoy training and give Nins and Johnny Betts and everybody a big hug when you see them, all right?
Thank you,
I'm going to send you a shirt. Check it out. Like, I got merch, dog. You see this shit? Look, bro. Right. This is all me, dog. The sign and shit, dog. Hey. The same mentality you got for these fights in 1FC, I'm going to have it for the podcast and comedy, bro. So don't worry, dog. My goal is, bro, when you're doing your main eventing, I got time, dog. I got time. I want to be headlining when you fight, and then that way after your fight, you come out first class, you sit first row with the belt, and I just perform for you. I perform for you like I performed for Izzy last time in UFC, dog. That's the goal, bro. I'll do a show in Thailand. Oh, yeah. My G. Talk soon, doggy.